A young lefty from the bullpen can be called in for a rotation spot in 2026.
You are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome into the Locked On Rays podcast. Locked On Rays is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And we are Kevin and Ulises.
And we are lifelong Rays fans who've been podcasting about the Tampa Bay Rays since 2019.
It is a mailbag episode, and on today's show, we'll break down Ryan Pepiot's recent bout of total body fatigue. In a few minutes, we'll get into the momentum towards the Rays possibly relocating to Tampa and not St. Pete. But first, let's talk about Ian Seymour and why he could be a key piece for the Rays rotation in 2026.
And we're going to talk about all of that, brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. Enter for a chance to win a dream golf trip for two to any golf tournament in the USA. Visit 5hewin.com for full rules and entry. No purchase necessary. Excludes the Masters tournament. Ends October 31st.
All right, let's roll into these mailbag questions. We have 3 of them. It has been a minute since a mailbag episode, and we would appreciate you all if you email us, lockedonrays@gmail.com, or send us a message on the social medias, and we'll try to get to it when we have a chance. This first one from Rachel in Tampa. We always appreciate her support. She says, "Good evening, Locked On Rays podcast. As we wind down to the end of the regular season, I've had questions about the Rays starting rotation going into 2026. Do you think Ian Seymour will be in the starting rotation for the 2026 season? Will Griffin Jax be converted into the starting rotation? He has struggled in the bullpen since coming here. What are your thoughts on Jax coming into the starting rotation for next season, as well as Ian Seymour?"
Well, thank you, Rachel, for always writing to us and being an active participant in the Locked On Rays community. We really thank you for that for a long time now, so thank you. Ian Seymour has a great shot at getting a spot in the 2026 rotation. 100%, Rachel, because without prompted, first of all, he already had that shot in 2025. We all saw that. Him getting the ball. Here you go, kid. You're taking a rotation spot. Yes, did he get an opener right there with Griffin Jax? Yes, did it work out awfully and there were 5 runs let in? Sure. But the intent was there of giving him the shot and to continue to give him a shot. So I think Ian Seymour is definitely on the path of getting a spot in 2026. And isn't it just morbid, nay, obscene, that baseball can just be so cruel sometimes?
Oh, yeah.
You have a great starting rotation health, and you have a mediocre record on September 11th. It's nuts how that worked out. It really is.
See, I thought you were going to go in a different direction. I thought you were going to say, entering the season, the Rays were so confident in their starting pitching depth, and now we look at mid-September, and there's question marks for the rest of the season and going into 2026 of who are the mainstays. We know about Pepiot, we know about Boz, we know about Rasmussen. Who's after that? Hauser's not part of the picture. Shane McClanahan, question mark. Joe Boyle, question mark as of this point. And right now, the lane is open for Ian Seymour.
Well, Kevin, I think we spend way too much time talking about Rays baseball, because that's exactly what my second point was. Yes, the depth entering 2025 was rich. The depth entering 2026, not so wealthy. You're right. So we know Rasmussen is going to get that opening day start. We know Ryan Pepiot is going to be number 2. By default, Shane Boz takes that 3rd spot unless the Rays get fancy with a little trade here or there, maybe a little action on the free agent side. They don't like to do that. They like to do that with veterans that are kind of on the cheap side. Fine. Maybe a return of Adrian Hauser's in the works. Who knows? And then that 4th, 5th spot, okay, if it's not that guy, then it's Ian Seymour, it's Joe Boyle. You mentioned Shane McClanahan. I think it would be nice to have that in the pocket if it were to work out. I think it would be irresponsible for us on this platform to be counting on Shane McClanahan as an option starting out the year.
Yeah, I mean, really anything you get from Shane McClanahan's a bonus at this point. We have to have the assumption that he is not going to be available for a portion or a large chunk of the season. It just remains to be seen. And we don't even want to get into that. The question is about Ian Seymour. And I think Ian Seymour has the makings of being a starter. I mean, he's one of those guys that was successful and thriving at every level of the minors. He tackled every project, every challenge, and he's been stretched out. I think in 2024, he had 140 plus innings in the minors. So it's not like he came up in the minor leagues as a full-time reliever or something like that. He has the length there and seemingly the endurance and stamina. And his last couple outings, he's been amazing with 5 innings pitched and really no action to give. And I think too, what works in his favor is the fact that he's a lefty. He has a wide range of pitches. He has a unique delivery, kind of an old-timey baseball pitcher delivery where it's all arms and legs and limbs flying around. And I think that kind of messes with the hitter a little bit. And, you know, he does what you ask him to do. Hey, throw the fastball up in the zone, throw the changeup down in the zone, mix in the cutter and the sweeper, and you got a good baseball player. And I think that, you know, he's come, like, you would think that, okay, as a lefty, obviously he's going to have more success against lefty hitters, but he can go toe to toe with right-handed hitters as well. That's not a problem. Like he'll strike a lefty out with a changeup. He'll strike a righty out with a changeup.
And honestly, I think that's one of the things that maybe has been missing in the Rays rotation this year. Righty, 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 righty. Mm-hmm. And I feel like it's an issue, and I know we talked about this with Evan earlier this season, where I was like, hey, isn't that going to be an issue? He kind of downplayed it. He said, you know what? No, I don't really care about that. You know, we were talking about Jeffrey Springs being traded, and he was like, no, I don't really care about that. I still to this day disagree, because if it matters with, hey, I'm going to get this lefty for this lefty guy in the 6th, 7th inning, because there's a lefty lane, like lefty, righty, lefty. If it's a thing about how managers make their lineup and how they're going to try to make it very difficult for you to use that lefty reliever, then it's going to be an issue. It's going to be something they're going to have to think about when the starter is a lefty and he's going to have to go 5-6 innings. Of course, it's going to become a variable on the other side, on that manager's desk, say, okay, well, how's going to be my lineup going to look? And guess what? You can't tell me, well, there are more righties, so obviously people are going to have some more success against lefty starters. Tell that to the Rays of 2025. That doesn't happen. It's just a little the little things sometimes matter. And just a change of, hey, we're seeing righties all the time against the Rays. Like this series, righties. The next series, we see them, righties, all of them.
Right.
Like, it's just nice to have that little bit of a change of perspective. And I feel like Ian Seymour has a great track to get that rotation spot in 2026.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why lefty starters are so valued. That doesn't come by accident. It's because you're trying to get an advantage against the opposition of them not seeing the same arm repeatedly and just maximizing the matchups. And you don't want to get the opposing team to get too comfortable with something. And having a lefty starter mixed in with some righties can help that going forward. As for Griffin Jax, to Rachel's, secondary question, I don't see him as a starter at this point. I know we had mentioned it a couple months ago, but prove to me that you can handle being in the bullpen first, and then we'll make that maneuver. Prove to me you can do similar to what Drew Rasmussen did, and then come talk to me. Yeah, that's kind of what I got with that one.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the stories of Zach Littell's that doesn't come that often. So yeah, I would keep Jackson in the bullpen for now.
All right. Coming up next, the city of Tampa looks to be gaining momentum as the Rays' long-term home. We'll talk about it next.
It's that time, people. You got to fuel up and turn it up with 5-hour energy transfusion. Grape, ginger, and lime flavored shot brings the iconic taste of a golf course. That's basically every night. That's what Kevin dreams about, that taste of that golf course. Yes, he does. And whether you're out on the course or just need a little extra push for yourself to get through watching Rays baseball, well, guess what? 5-hour energy transfusion delivers the clubhouse flavor that you love. So today, you have got to try this. So you can amp up the fun even more. Just buy, snap, and enter for a chance to win a dream golf trip for 2 to any golf tournament in the U.S. Tee up that trip. Visit 5hewin.com for full rules and entry. No purchase necessary. Exclusive Masters Tournament. It ends October 31st, 2025. Again, visit 5hewin.com. The NFL season is almost here. Kevin is psyched, and FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5. That's $5. And if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Sounds like a pretty good deal, people. And what makes FanDuel amazing is that it's quick, easy, and it's the best way to add a little green Skittles on your Sunday that you don't know where to put them. Well, you can use FanDuel for that. You got same game parlays, even jumping in live as the action unfolds. So, are you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet.
Thank you for listening to the Locked On Rays podcast. We are part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. All right, this next question comes from Lawrence in Tampa. Hey, guys, would you prefer the Rays build their new stadium at the HCC site, which is being talked about more and more, or in Ybor City?
Well, Lawrence, right? Or Larry?
I think Lawrence goes by either or. You'd have to ask him. I don't know him personally.
All right, Lawrence. Let's go with
Lawrence. If he said Lawrence in the email,
all right,
probably goes by Lawrence.
Sorry about that, Lawrence. Did not mean to call you Larry. I didn't get to.
Is it to or instead? What's the more?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, sorry, I went too personal there, too familiar with you, Lawrence. But Locked On Rays. We're you know us, so family. I feel like I could call you Larry. Larry, thank you for writing to us. Would I prefer it in HCC or Ybor? This is a very personal question to every Rays fan ever. So for me, yes, I would prefer it in Ybor. I mean, that's just my dream would be to have a walkable, extremely close to home stadium of the sport, of the team that I've grown up rooting for. Like, that would be probably one of the most amazing things that you could do as a sports fan. I mean, just walking to your stadium, like biking to your stadium, taking a tram to your stadium, and then just the Ybor aspect of it, just being so old town and the cobblestones and the history that's there, which kind of makes a really good balance for me. The pastime, the national pastime of baseball with Ybor, I just feel like it does a great marriage there. So yeah, that would be my preference for sure. But I think you land on the other side, Kev.
Well, the side I land on is, if it's on the Tampa side, I'm satisfied. And if not Tampa, then I'll take St. Pete, because I'll take St. Pete before Orlando or another state. So at least we're seeing news reports and media rumblings about this new ownership group heavily evaluating sites in Tampa, be it Ybor or HCC. So one way or another, it doesn't matter to me all that much. It's still going to take me 45, 50 minutes to get there. But I do understand the viewpoint of why the HCC site is so attractive, because I think part of the idea is making that a little bit of a sports hub. You have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers already. You have Steinbrenner Field. You add on to the HCC campus. They have sporting events going on all the time. There's plenty of parking. You're right off Dale Mabry, the easy access to the airport. There's a lot going there that I think they could make it work. I think they can make it work at either location, but I think it's just refreshing to see these talks really starting to heat up, that, you know, based on the damage that Stu Sternberg had done with Hillsborough County, Tampa, St. Petersburg, Pinellas County, you have a new, fresh group that seems to be willing to work with the government entities in charge, and they have a vision for what they want to do and attack it. And ultimately, I think this is the direction the Rays are going, is we want to be in Tampa. We see the Steinbrenner Field experience. There's been some ups and downs there, but I think they can use that as a blueprint and a benchmark for what they want to do going forward, because I think it's really, at this point, the Tampa side's to lose based on everything that I'm reading and consuming at this point.
Exactly. It's Tampa's to lose. It's like, okay, wherever it's going to be, Tampa has first dibs. And let's hope that, my gosh, they get it done. Because boy, oh boy, have we been just, we've been bleeped and bleeped over
jacked
and over
around,
again,
so to speak, for the last
and enough is enough. Just give us a bleeping statement.
Yeah, we've seen a million renderings. Let's put some rebar in the ground and get it done already. I want to see construction fences and hard hats going on. And I think that what Zalewski has going for him is he can get things built. That's part of his MO. And look, maybe I'm a little bit jealous, and it's not necessarily apples to apples, but the idea of having a football stadium, an NFL stadium right across the street from a baseball stadium is ideal if you really want to make the Tampa Bay sports community come together. You go from the baseball game to the football game, vice versa, make it a whole all-day event with tailgating. I mean, there's a lot of activity that can happen there. Plus, you know, based on what I've seen regarding the HCC site, there's some potential for additional ancillary development. I think that's probably where Ybor City has the edge, is you step out of the ballpark and there's places you can shop, eat, hang out. On Northdale Mabry, you're pretty much going to have to take an Uber if you want to get somewhere.
And the places that are around there, maybe you don't take your family with.
Yeah, so, it's not necessarily family friendly.
Yeah, I will
but I think it's cool, the idea that you could hopscotch from baseball to football, and you know, and even if you want to just check out a Tampa Tarpons game, you could do all that as well.
You've told us when you went to Texas how you really like that what they have over there. Now, you mentioned something about making the Tampa Bay sports community, you know, kind of closer together, which I agree. So I don't want to spend too much time on this, but in less than a minute, let's do this lightning round.
Okay.
Is it fair to say that if you're a sports fan and you're a Bucks fan here in Tampa, and maybe you're a Bucks Yankees guy, maybe you're Aaron Judge, hello. Okay. Then there's the other sports fan who might be a Rays fan, but by God, I love my Patriots. Okay.
Okay, I see where you're going.
So what are there more ofs in Tampa? The Aaron Judges or the Patriots race guy?
I have no idea.
Okay, because I think it's more of the Aaron Judge guys. They like more the Bucks, and then they have another baseball affiliation, which would make sense.
I can see that because the Bucks have been around since, you know, the 70s.
Yeah.
So, and the
Rays
is
you have a great point there. You have a great point. You could actually make the Tampa Bay Rays community bigger by amplifying it next to the Bucks.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's all in play as of this point. The first thing though is for
Just go City.
MLB for MLB to approve this new ownership group, because I don't
Sure,
think
that should
anything's been
come first.
signed on the dotted line, but it seems like it's ultimately going to get rubber stamped and be a done deal, and we'll see what happens after that. All right, we'll wrap things up with a third and final mailbag question. And it'll focus on Ryan Pepiot. And could we possibly see his innings limited for the remainder of the season? We might. Well, you've probably seen a million ads for hair growth products and thought, sure, like that actually works. There are so many products out there, and it's hard to know which ones are actually going to do anything. That's why you should give Nutrafol a closer look. Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement brand, trusted by over 1.5 million people. And it's not just hype. This is a supplement clinically tested that targets the root causes of thinning and shedding with a proactive approach. So see thicker, stronger hair with less shedding in just 3 to 6 months with Nutrafol. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering Locked On MLB listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter the promo code LOCKEDONMLB. That's Nutrafol.com, promo code LOCKEDONMLB. Thank you for listening to the Locked On Rays podcast, making us your first listen every day. We are part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. All right, let's get into this final mailbag question coming from Rays Fan 98 on the Twitter or X machine, whatever you'd like to call it. The question refers to Ryan Pepiot. Do you think the Rays should shut down Ryan Pepiot for the remainder of the season after reports of him dealing with body fatigue? And Ulises, before you answer that or get into that, do want to put forth a little snippet here from an article. Ryan Pepiot says the combination of a career high innings workload and lingering total body fatigue from his last outing was why he and the Rays decided he wouldn't start Wednesday night as planned. Pepiot said he will monitor how he feels on a, quote, day-to-day basis to determine when he will pitch next, with no set timeline.
Thank you, Rays Fan 98, for being a Locked On Rays participant. I have no hopes of playoffs for this 2025. So, yes, take care of the future arms. And this is going to hurt those forever optimists that don't want to be realists about what we've seen in 2025. This team is not going to the playoffs. Do not do anything that could hamper their 2026 season. We just talked about in segment 1 how the depth isn't what it used to be. Ryan Pepiot is the only guy of those 3 young studs that actually made steps forward. He actually took that next step that we were all looking forward. He's pitched 163 innings this season. That is a career high. A 3.59 ERA. Like, he has solidified that second spot in the rotation after Drew Rasmussen. Yeah, if you need to give us an excuse like arm fatigue, maybe it is arm fatigue, and I don't doubt that he has arm fatigue. What I'm saying is, say whatever you want. I've seen enough from Ryan Pepiot this year where I'm not going to be upset because you're taking care of his innings. Or, when I get upset about taking care of his innings, it's in June. Mm-hmm. It's in July when you are fighting for a division, and then you say, well, no, we got to get him. We got him get it healthy for October, when there might not be an October. There's today. Right. There's today. That's when I'm not really a fan of that. I get it, but I'm not a fan of it. This time around, yeah, bro, it's gone. Let's go. Rest him up.
When your team's definitely not going to the playoffs at this point, you got to take care of your guys. You got to look towards the future. You don't want to have a Nick Anderson 2.0, because my concern is if after a couple of days he says he's fine. Look, I kind of commend Ryan Pepiot for acknowledging his issue here, because there's a lot of players and athletes that'll say, no, I can push through it. I can fight through it. And before you know it, they injure something they weren't expecting to injure because of something else going on, be it fatigue or some other ailment. And then you might be without him to the start of the season, or he's not the same player. Again, go back to Nick Anderson. There was not any toothpaste left in the tube for him during that season. And we've seen how his career track has changed from that. But, I selfishly, it'd be cool to see Ryan Pepiot get his 30th start, which you can easily, roll him out there for one inning and then, be done with it. I don't know if we need to, shut him down completely, but yeah, don't get crazy. Don't say, oh yeah, we need you to make consistent starts and give us at least 5 innings. No point in that right now. And even if the Rays were in a true playoff chase, you still want to take care of him for the future with the off chance of something happening to him. But Ryan Pepiot has been really the second most valuable starter for the Rays this year. Drew Rasmussen, of course, having the season he's had. And Pepiot, I think in the future he might be that guy that could give you 200 innings. This just isn't the year for it.
Right.
And there's no reason to try to push anything like that or try to, hit some sort of benchmark this year if you're going to maybe risk his health going forward.
He does have shades of James Shields.
Shades, yes. Let's not get rambunctious here, but
because
little tinges of it.
Let's just, and I think we just
like Junior Caminero has shades of Miggy Cabrera.
Right.
We're not calling him Miggy
We're
Cabrera.
not there yet. Exactly. But we can see things, and I appreciate what Ryan Pepiot has done this year, and there is no reason. Honestly, if they just completely shut him down, I'm okay with it. If they go ahead and say, hey, I'm fine, the test results are fine, and they want to okay, maybe 3 innings. All right. But for me, it's well, what's the point really? It's not like he needs to be maybe a little bit of rest would be nice for his body after going from 130 to 163.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a big jump, but those innings accumulate. And I would want him to be a little bit fresh for a season that, as we discussed in segment 1, is not going to have a starting rotation type of depth that we saw coming into 2025. The depth in 2026 is not anything like we were talking about 365 days ago.
Yeah. And honestly, I wouldn't be that upset, even though he's not on an IL stint yet. You give him that IL stint or a phantom IL stint or whatever you want to call it. Give someone else an opportunity. See what one of these minor leaguers can do, or do some creative things with the opener and the bullpen usage, and just kind of throw things at the wall, see what sticks, and see if somebody's ready for the show.
Exactly.
We saw Ian Seymour. He's ready for the show. Let's see if anybody else is in the pipeline that can step up.
You're ready. You're worried about your depth. Okay, well, take Pepiot out. Who do we got? Who wants it?
Joe Boyle.
Who wants a shot? Yeah, Joe Boyle. Where are you? Where you been, bro?
We do. By the way, the Rays playoff odds are at 0.5%.
There are people out there, though. There are people out there.
You're still saying there's a chance. There also is a chance that we'll have a show on Friday, more than a 0.5% chance. So be sure you stay tuned with us for that. In the meantime, we hope you all have a wonderful day. Stay safe and enjoy.